Hey Vikings fans, Tatum Everett here inside TCO Studios for an exciting new show that will be here on Vikings Entertainment each and every week as we get going with the 2021 season. This is Opposing Viewpoints, where we invite an expert to talk to me and the other member of our team. So let's bring in Vikings team reporter Eric Smith. I am so excited that football is finally here. How's it going?
It's going good, Tatum. I'm excited to be here with you. I'm excited for week one. It's a very exciting time of the year. And yeah, let's get it going. It should be a fun show. All
right, let's bring in our guest for the day. It is Bengals senior writer Geoff Hobson. Geoff, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I guess you didn't have to get permission from Zim to get me on. So thank you.
We did not, Geoff. But Zim is close to you. Actually, I talked to Zim yesterday. I brought up your name, and he said, "Oh, Hobby." So he definitely knows who you are, and we are thankful for you for being on the show. You have covered the Bengals for Bengals.com for 22 years. You've covered the team overall for 32 years. So you are a seasoned pro of this team. I guess if we talk about Mike Zimmer, he's obviously going back to Cincinnati, coaching there for the first time as a head coach in the regular season. What's your favorite Mike Zimmer story? And this is a family show, so let's keep it PG friendly if we can.
Zim's one of the great people in the National Football League. I cherish his friendship. You can only begin and end with one Zim story, and it's October 8th, 2009, when his wife Vicky passed away suddenly. He came home from practice, and she was gone. And it was stunning for all of us. Can you imagine what it was like for Mike and his family, Adam and the girls? And somehow he kept it together, and he went down to Baltimore, and he coached the game, and they won. They weren't supposed to win. They weren't supposed to win at all in 2009, but they went down to Baltimore. The Ravens did nothing on offense, and the Bengals won it in the last 20 seconds. And I'll never forget when Marvin gave him the game ball. It was, and I remember, Zim was fighting back tears, and he said, "I want to thank you guys for fighting so hard." Well, the guys wanted to thank him too. It was an unbelievable lesson in courage and love, and it was a great moment.
Definitely a great lesson in courage and love. I love that you said that, and we all know Coach Zim also just loves the game of football, and he's been busy in his office game planning for this Bengals team. That between the Vikings and the Bengals, there are actually 6 LSU alums that are on the field in this contest. Kind of strange here. So my first question for you, Geoff, and I'll flip it to Eric after this, 3 on each side. Who is the most impactful LSU alum for the Bengals? And I don't want this to be too obvious, but it may just have to be.
Yeah, I think it's Burrow for a lot of reasons. Number one, he plays quarterback. Number two, he's coming off the devastating knee injury. Number three, before he went down against Washington last year in the 10th game, he was everything that they wanted him to be and more. So, it's kind of, I kind of got an easy one there. I think Eric's probably got the hard one.
Yeah, Eric's got to decide between Danielle Hunter, Justin Jefferson, and Patrick Peterson. So, Eric, you got to single just one out, can you?
I'm going to go with a guy who's going to try to track down Joe Burrow, and that is Danielle Hunter. He is going to be back on the field Sunday, and we cannot wait to see him. He obviously missed all of last season with a neck injury, and his presence was sorely missed. The Vikings defense kind of dipped in all areas last year, but especially in the pass rush. They only had 23 sacks. That was a franchise low in team history, and Danielle Hunter is a guy who can get to the quarterback. In both 2018 and 2019, he had 14.5 sacks, and he has looked great in training camp. He did not play in the preseason. The Vikings held him out as a precaution just to make sure he's healthy and he's good to go. But if he plays anything like we saw him perform in training camp, he will be good to go. He was a monster on the field. He looked dominant against the Vikings offensive line. I think he's going to be in for a big year starting on Sunday.
Yeah, I won't take it too personal that neither of you picked me. That's okay. No feelings, no hard feelings. It's week one, though, so there really isn't too much tape on either of these teams. So, Geoff, what is the biggest storyline this week for Cincinnati?
Well, I think they've got to, opening day. That's a rare thing in Cincinnati at Paul Brown Stadium. They've only had 7 in this century, and it's the first time they've had back-to-back opening days at home since 2002 and 2003. So it's you can feel the excitement because it's obviously the gates are open, and as opposed to last year, the fans haven't really been able to get out and see Burrow's team. So they haven't won one of these openers since '07, but really it's only because they haven't had many. So you put the return of Burrow, the return of the fans, and Zim, who's only just 20 miles away from the sprawling ranch in Walton, Kentucky, South Zim Fork, I call it. So, you got a lot of stuff going on here. Zim made his money here in Cincinnati, shutting down the greatest passers in the game. So it's a huge challenge for Joe, and it's a great shot for the fans to get to see him.
Yeah, the Vikings obviously trying to make sure that streak stays alive as far as L's in that season opener. So, Eric, it's a revamped defense. It's an offense with a lot of returning pieces. So what's the most important part about this Vikings team heading into this contest?
So there's been a lot of talk about that revamped defense that Zimmer has had his hands on, obviously all offseason. But I'm actually going to go with the other side of the ball, and that's the Vikings offense. And how does that first unit look? Mostly because we haven't seen them together really in a while, and that's the season finale last year. And even then, Dalvin Cook didn't play. Justin Jefferson did not play in the preseason. Dalvin Cook did not play in the preseason. Adam Thielen only played a few snaps. And the offense looks shaky, and that's probably to be expected because all the top-tier guys were not in there. But it's go time now, and there's no room for error right now. The Vikings have to get off to a hot start, much like the Bengals want to, and that's going to start with the offense. If the Vikings defense, which has a lot of new faces, maybe takes some time to come together, it's going to be on the offense to kind of pick up the slack a little bit and score some points. And that's going to obviously start with Kirk Cousins, a new-look offensive line. So this first-team offense has a good test on Sunday in Cincinnati. And if they pass it, I think we'll end up with a win.
I don't know about you guys. These studio lights may be making me a little hot right now, but I think it's time to turn the temperature up and get some of your hot takes for this game. Geoff, because you're the guest of the show, we'll head out to you first. You got a hot take for us about this contest?
I think it's all. I think it comes down to Joe Mixon and Dalvin Cook, the two guys from the class of 2017. Cook's been a great great runner, coming off a 1,500-yard season. Bengals have to protect Burrow. Mixon is, I think, an under-the-radar guy. I think he's one of the best players in the division that nobody knows. A quiet 2 1,000-yard seasons to his credit. Coming off the foot injury last year that lost in the last 10 games. Let's add up the rushing totals at the end of this, and that will tell us who won.
So, Eric, I know your take kind of has to play off of that one. You'll take the Vikings side of things in that one.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the running back too, but I'm going to say that Dalvin Cook rushes for at least 150 yards. I know that's maybe a little bold for week one, but with Clint Kubiak being a first-time play caller and being in his first year as the offensive coordinator for the Vikings, I believe he's going to try to stick to what he knows best, what the Vikings want to do the most, and that is obviously run the ball with Dalvin Cook. I think as the new offensive line kind of gels together and the passing game starts to click, Dalvin is still the focal point of this offense. I think he's going to get a lot of touches. I think he's going to get obviously a lot of yards, and I think by the time Sunday is over, he'll have 150 rushing yards at least.
And finally, I'll have you guys take out those prognosticators' hats and make some predictions, bold predictions, hopefully. The Bengals win if, Geoff?
The Bengals win if Joe Mixon can outrush Dalvin Cook. I think Bengals are putting a lot of they're putting a lot of faith in Mixon. I think he's going to be playing a lot on third down. Now that Giovanni Bernard's gone, they have historically, when Mixon's got his 20 carries, I think they've won 7 out of 12 games. So he's coming back after after that 10-game layoff with his foot injury. I think they're looking to protect Burrow against the Mike Zimmer defense. The best way to do it is to put it in the hands of Joe Mixon. So if he can somehow outrush the great Dalvin Cook, they will win.
Yes, that is a tall order. I think we just spoke just how amazing Dalvin was a second ago with Eric. And so now I'll turn the tables to Vikings team reporter Eric Smith, and the Vikings win if.
The Vikings win if they do not beat themselves. And I say that knowing there are no easy games in the NFL. It's tough to go on the road. It's tough to win at home. It's tough to win in general. But If the Vikings can not turn the ball over, be good in the red zone, be good on third down, I think they can get a win in Cincinnati. That did not happen last year when the Vikings started 0-3 and kind of torpedoed their playoff chances early on. And as Jeff knows, Mike Zimmer's defense is always good on third down, always good in the red zone. And Zimmer this week has talked so much, almost every day, about playing complementary football. Offense, defense, special teams, it's all got to work together in order to get a win. If you look at the schedule, this game against the Bengals is perhaps one of the easiest ones on the schedule. That's not to say it's going to be an easy win. That's just to say how tough the Vikings schedule is, especially in the second half of the year. This week one, there's a lot of excitement. Players are going to be hyped up for sure, but they got to control their emotions, control the football, control the clock, everything that Mike Zimmer wants to do for his football team. And I think they can fly home on Sunday with a win.
Man, I hope the players are listening, Eric, because that was quite a pregame speech. The winner of this one decided on Sunday, the Vikings and Bengals, to kick off the 2021 NFL football season. A big thank you to Bengals senior writer Geoff Hobson for joining Opposing Viewpoints today. We look forward to bringing you this every week, and be sure to keep tuning in to Vikings Entertainment Network for all the latest leading up to kickoff. For Vikings team reporter Eric Smith, I'm Tatum Everett. Thanks for watching, and Skol Vikings.